All right, for anyone that can hear the soothing sound of my voice, we're going to get started.
Sorry.
Yes, I do. I'm cripplingly shy. I hope this isn't the part that's being recorded. I hope we... All right, so welcome to day 2 of the 2018 Domestic Violence, Security, and Safety Conference here in Washington, D.C. We had a great day yesterday. We talked about social media security, about how information that you're putting online or that could be used against you after it's put online kind of lasts forever in a lot of different ways. We looked at some examples of what that means and how that works. We talked about open source information, or OSINT, spillage and mitigation. So what information that's already out there and publicly accessible could be used against you, and how it can be aggregated together in order to build a profile of something that you don't want to be released. We talked about establishing secure communications, what tools can allow an individual to build up that secure communications channel with your agencies or with their support system or anything else. That's really, really important because that's the first step. If an individual wants to start to reach out, they have to be able to do so safely. And what we found is that in a lot of cases, it stops there. If they can't develop those secure communications channels, if they don't feel safe and secure to talk, they're not going to have a voice. So it's kind of incumbent on all of us to help them find that voice. We talked about a journey. Zoe Rose shared a journey that she had through learning security and what that means for those escaping domestic violence or abuse in all forms, particularly, or in one example, with Internet of Things and how devices that we have inside our homes can be used to connect to the world in new ways. We started looking at some of what that might mean, how a thermostat is connected to the internet, and how someone malicious, whoever had access to it or can hack into it, is able to change the temperature during the day, make your pets uncomfortable, drive up your bill, anything that could be inconvenient, or even monitor the individual. We talked about active shooter awareness, run, hide, fight through Special Agent Pete Lapp. And then we talked about advanced phishing protection and how emails, we all know what phishing is, but kind of how it's gotten a little more sophisticated as time goes on, a little harder to detect and what that actually means. So today, we're going to talk about some new things. We're going to talk about things that build on things we've already discussed yesterday. We're going to talk about finding and removing personal information online, how information is collected and aggregated about us, and what that means and how we can do something about it. We're going to talk about information sharing and security, particularly with law enforcement and social programs, and how we can better bridge that gap in terms of sharing information with one another. We're going to talk about counter-surveillance and surveillance detection. And this is an interesting one. This one came up at a special request as we were planning the events and the sessions and everything else, where individuals that are entrusted with the location of a secure facility, a safe house or something like that, which is how can you get there and back on a daily basis? How can you bring people there and make sure people can find it without the bad guys, the adversary, the abusers finding it as well? And that's a challenge, and Rebecca Morgan's going to tell us about that. We're going to talk about spouseware and cell phone tracking. I know a lot of you are excited about this one. I'm excited about this one, where we're talking about how cell phones can be exploited and leveraged in order to track the individual's location, actually look up and see where the phone is, see what they're doing, what messages are being sent out, send messages on the phone's behalf so it looks like the individual's doing it. A lot of insidious things that are commercially available, very easy to install, very easy to use. Then we're going to talk about threat and mitigation pairing. In other words, how to actually identify what the threat is and what to do about it. And then we're going to close out with operations security, which is the process you can apply to any mission where you need to protect information or hide information, and how you can actually go through that process in order to make yourself and those entrusted to you safer. So once again, I do invite you to look at the interactive agenda. Once again, use your phones. We have the interactive agenda at goaskrose.com/DVSSC2018, where you look at the bios, you can see what's coming up next. You can chat, you can send us some messages, and there's also a survey after the session's in today, where you can give us some feedback about what you'd like to see next year and what we could have done differently or better for you. Of course, you can always reach out via email. You can always catch us on Twitter with the DVSSC2018 hashtag for this event, and then our website at goaskrose.com.